not going back home with her. You know, if you're in your soft guy era, continue to be in your soft guy era, because we are not lowering our standards. We will find someone who will do better.
If you think you're gonna get a decent guy by being manipulative and cruel and disrespectful, single ladies in the dating scene, listen, if you're not picking up your guy to go to the restaurant, buying him flowers, paying for his meal, okay? Sending him have a great night text. Not only that, Venmoing him some spending money so he could buy that new Chanel bag. Now, I don't know what you're doing in 2024, honey. This is the soft guy era. Oh my gosh, she's just playing. She's just playing. Don't need to throw tomatoes yet. Not just yet.
Lord okay, even though I know some women actually do that. But anyways, there is an uprising in some men. Not all men, just some of them, okay? Because still a lot of gentlemen out there,
so there's
right?
hope.
Yeah. And instead of these men maybe hashing out their frustration,
or
talking about it, going to therapy, they're right now causing a little uprising in what it's called right now a soft guy era or soft boy era.
No, it's not. They don't want to be called boys, but even though they're acting like it.
Or what they say right now, a drizzle every time they think they did a little dunk. But in reality, we truly know what they formerly were.
Oh, okay.
Okay, these men, yeah. They were something else before soft guy era. We're going to get to that issue.
Okay.
But what is a soft guy era? Now, obviously, there's many ways you can frame it, but the general idea came after soft girl era, which gained momentum on social media when many ladies decided to abandon the idea of being a girl boss and instead choose stress-free living, self-care, and finding someone who could support them financially, and I'm sure in many other ways too. It was criticized by others as another reinforcement of patriarchy. I think, honestly, when we look at the whole concept of soft girl era, I think it's just they're bringing back, or even it's still current in a lot of people's lives, in which the men are the providers, the protectors. There is elements of leadership in it too, especially if the man is very, because sometimes you can have someone who
has a high emotional intelligence or something like that.
Yeah, it can be leaders. Not all men can be leaders. Another thing too is that soft girl era is manifested in many areas, like in the trad wives. There's a lady right now out there called Shira 7.
Yeah, and her whole sprinkle thing.
And we're gonna get to her too.
Yeah.
And how about the wags? The wags, yeah.
This reminds me, I entered a class in the uni where it was like hardcore feminism, right? Literally, it was hardcore.
Was it a geology class?
No, I took some kind of sociology class.
Because no women are in those classes.
Yeah, sociology class where it was like feminism to the highest, I would say.
Okay.
And literally the professor, she was breaking down men in a way where, like, how come women cannot walk a certain way where we spread up our legs and walk? Or why do we have to even do 50-50? We could just do everything. We don't even need him there. And I'm like, you know what? We don't need that as a society. We don't need to be men versus women.
Now, though it's not clear if soft girl era is a response to feminism, we do know some elements of soft girl era as a response to how men are lately. Some men. And because of that, we have somebody called Shira 7 to address those concerns. Now, who's Shira 7?
Yeah, so Shira 7 is a woman on social media, especially on TikTok, who grows 1.3 million followers, where she coined the term sprinkle, right? Now, I feel like she came in at a time where women were really struggling in their dating life, marriage life, and all that. Not only that, we had a growing amount of men on social media, I would say. For example, Kevin Samuel, unfortunately, he passed away. The Fresh and Fit guys, and etc.
The red pill community.
What's the guy's name? The guy with the glasses all the time.
I don't know. Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Right. So those guys were growing on social media.
The manosphere,
right? But now Shira 7 coming through with her inputs about how women are supposed to deal with those type of men, basically.
Yeah.
Sprinkle everything, and you will get the results you want. Now, Shira 7 is an author of several books. One of them, I love the title, to be honest, is called I Bring Nothing to the Table. Now, The Guardian had made an article about her, and this is what they had to say.
Shira advises women over the age of 25 to seek out and date older, affluent men, and to actively play games to get them. This includes hiding your insecurities from potential partners and using reverse psychology to manipulate men, so you can imitate intimacy without the risk that comes with true vulnerability. For example, if you're feeling jealous because a man you're dating doesn't pick up his phone, you should pretend you are calling for help with a flat tire. I got a funny story about this one. But then had to get another man to step in. Once they have locked a man down, she argues women should push for them to pay for all their household bills and expenses. Men without money are dusties and not to be entertained. Okay, now,
Fabulous.
it's the dusties part, she said. Is her rhetorics or even her conversations, are they harmful?
It can be.
I
would say.
think there is some type of
Manipulation.
emotional games going back and forth.
Exactly.
Emotional games. Harmful, I don't know where we're going with that one, okay? Because the reality is, I think she is responding to the women's cry of what's going on. A lot of these men, and I think a lot of them, the guys, the manosphere has been shaking lately.
Oh.
Okay, obviously, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Fresh
Horrible.
and fit.
Oh.
They became a statistics with the baby mama issue. Andrew
Not
Tate,
a
unfortunately, is going through legality issues. I don't know if I can say his name on this thing. And so you can see that their lords are right now shaking. And now, as I mentioned in the previous video, I believe these same men right now, in retaliation to her, are manifesting what they call a soft guy era. That's them now. They left that whole alpha, manosphere, all that stuff right now. In retaliation to her, coined the term drizzle, and jumped onto that new bandwagon, which is called right now the soft guy era.
And it makes
It's to
sense.
respond to them. It's to respond to what Shira is and
You know, it's so
everybody
funny.
doing.
Instead of being pissed off about the guys that they looked up to,
Mm-hmm.
right, with those three, especially those three individuals. Now, there was some aspect to their preaching that it was somewhat positive, right? Yeah. Getting your money up, fixing your body, your teeth, your hair, and all
You
that.
mean getting fit, fixing your body? I don't know what that means.
They tried. But if we're talking about the whole relationship aspect of it, they failed. Okay, none of them had any healthy relationships.
Or none of them are in healthy relationships.
Yeah.
That could result into something sustainable.
Now we're in the whole soft guy era, right? Because somehow their boys failed on them, and now they want to make their own term, drizzle, and they're pissed at women again. So let's look at some of these videos.
I just got off the phone with someone I was seeing, and she asked me how my day was going, and I explained I was at the airport. Then she said, "I'm glad you got there safe." And I said, "Yeah, I had to take an Uber. I had to block her." I mean, she was great and everything. She was emotionally intelligent, always paid for dinner, pretty much catered to my every need. But if you hear I'm taking an Uber to the airport, and your first move is not to open up Venmo and send me money, are you even a real woman? And then you find out I'm on a commercial flight, and you don't immediately charter me a private jet.
Oh.
I know my worth, Drizzle.
Oh, okay,
I would
sassy.
love to know what nail color he has on. Love it.
Okay.
I go on a date with a female, and bill comes, and I look at it, and I say, it was so good to see you and everything.
Okay.
Is there a drone
She don't
around
pick
here?
up the bill, and she said, "Oh, you're not gonna pay for it?" I said, "What? Drizzle, I'm not gonna pay for anything."
Drizzle.
That's giving me an ick. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you should be paying for the bill.
Then why are you going out with a sprinkle
I don't know what
queen?
you're talking about. Like,
Is it?
I got ready for you. My cologne cost a couple $1,000.
Interesting.
Like, I got ready and showed up. Like, I don't know what you're on, but I'm in my soft guy era. I'm just trying to make
lip
sure
tap.
that you understand that what's happening here is that you need to really put out. I don't know really what you have to offer. You could just say you're broke, but you could just say you're broke because I got a maid, I got a chef, I got an assistant. I don't really need a woman.
He doesn't look like he
so
has a
if you're
maid.
broke, you can just say so, But I had to go ahead and block her. I was not going back home with her. If you in your soft guy era, continue to be in your soft guy era because we are not lowering our standards. We will find someone who would do better.
And this is not a diss.
my
Wipe your
goodness.
mouth a little bit. Drink water for saliva. And listen, I don't know what you're talking about a maid and everything, but you're telling me all your staff, your team, didn't tell you didn't look good today? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So it seems like men want to play women's sports.
Okay, what's
And that's
women's
fine.
sports?
Oh, sorry. It's women's sports when a man want to challenge a woman on things that she's naturally good at.
right.
Now, let me tell you something. As women, we know what and how to say things to disarm you, okay? By simply being soft and sweet. Now, instead of you guys looking at your ancient playbooks or maybe from the Gentleman Club's book, you're out here reading from the soft girl era book. Like, how authentic is that? Like, how unique is that?
You know the funniest thing is these guys are giving like, my dad left me at the age of 5 and never came back with the milk, right? It's showing me that you had no male figures in your life helping you become a man.
And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of great guys out there. There's a lot of gentlemen out there. I don't know why they're not combating this issue.
The reality is, when it comes to men who have a great job, family, great kids and everything, they don't have time to spew hate. They have no time to go on the internet and say, oh, they should have done this and should have done that. No, they're only focused on their lives, raising their family and being successful in that aspect of their lives,
like
right?
that.
Now, am I saying that they don't have certain friends like that? Yes, they do. But men's friendships, I would say, are very surface level, right? They really don't go in depth. They don't really talk about feelings. They just say a few lines saying, how's everything going in your life? Great, perfect, okay? Because in the end of the day, they don't want your life to sabotage their life. So they cut it. They cut it through and through.
Leave 'em at the pub.
And in the end of the day, they will leave you in the pub while they're going to their family and their kids. So I think men, listen, reality is there is a lonely pandemic happening. And I have said this several times in this channel. One day I was visiting a family member in the hospital, okay? And I saw in a row 5 or 6 guys by themselves, right? Sick, going through something, but there was no family member in sight. And that was a shocking thing for me, okay? Yeah. Women, we always have this community. If we're even single and we die at the age of 60 or whatever, we have a community. We have loved ones around us, okay? Men, that's not the same thing.
So at the end of the day, do you think the soft guy era is gonna last?
No, I feel like it's,
it's
personally,
not.
I feel like it's a jokeful thing that is happening. They're
It's
just
trolling and all that
It's trolling
stuff.
the sprinkle girls. And listen, especially girls, we have our own issues, you know what I mean? If you think you're gonna get a decent guy by being manipulative and cruel and disrespectful, probably you could get him at that moment, but it's not gonna be a lifetime relationship where it's gonna be honest and pure and caring and loving. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna be a happy woman. Okay? So I think women and men, we need to work together in order to have that happy life, you know. So I hopefully we learn something from this. I wouldn't say I'm a through and through sprinkle queen, okay? She does entertain me,
no,
but
I
don't follow the chick.
I definitely believe the guy should be, I'm sorry, we're old school, okay? We're traditional.
We're traditional, right?
Men are the providers and whatnot. And if a woman wants to go ahead and work, I believe the money she does get is her pocket money, because 99% of the time she's invested back in her family. Maybe you don't see it in a form of rent, but you're probably going to see it in house purchases, okay? Like new furnitures and stuff like that. So just slow down.
Yeah. And like I always say, men could build a house, but women make that house into a home.
Do you think it should be a responsibility on these gentlemen to help guide these guys, or they're on their own?
Listen, I have a friend, and he said from his own words, and he's a married man with kids and all that, and he has a friend who is single and thriving and living his best life. He said, listen, I see my guy fry once a month. And every time I meet up with him, he has a new crazy story. But I leave him there, right?
Interesting.
He could continue with his crazy stories. But I would never want to trade lives with him. You guys, on that note, please subscribe and like this video, and bye now.